Get your win at WallaceWins.com.
We are very happy, honored, and privileged to welcome in studio our special guest, Executive Director of Los Angeles Trial Lawyers Charities, Lissa Zanville.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome, Lissa. Well, I will say, Lissa, ever since we started this podcast, you have been on the top of the list of guests to bring in. And so we are very, very happy to have you here today.
I'm honored that you would say that. Thank you. And I'm honored to be here.
Of course. Now, if you've seen any of our previous podcast episodes, you will know that we always like to start off each podcast with a segment called Rapid Fire. All right, so I'm going to throw out a bunch of stuff, questions, and we just want rapid answers, first thing that comes to mind. All right, you ready?
You got it.
All right. Coolest place you've ever been?
Yosemite.
Best sport to watch?
That's a tie. I think it used to be baseball, but now it's basketball.
Best sport to play?
I'd say baseball. I did like playing baseball.
Movie you've seen more than any other?
Oh, God, Wizard of Oz.
First band you saw live?
I'm really aging myself, but I did see the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl.
Best city you've ever lived in?
Well, I've only lived in two places, which would be Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. And I keep coming back to L.A.
Most famous person you've ever met?
Your guests might enjoy the fact that I met Joe Montana. I actually media trained Joe Montana for something.
Best month of the year?
March.
Favorite sports team?
The Lakers.
All right, finally, we have a Laker fan in the house. Favorite musical artist?
Joni Mitchell.
Childhood hero?
Not childhood, but Joni Mitchell.
Hidden talent most people don't know you have?
I wanted to be Joni Mitchell, so I sang and played the guitar at the Hip Bagel in Westwood.
Woo, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, another successful rapid fire. Great job. All right, so it gets it going. You get kind of warmed up with the rapid fire. It's always good. Good way to start. Obviously, I introduced you at the outset, Executive Director of the Los Angeles Trial Lawyers Charities. We'll put the link in the comment section so anyone can check out LATLC. But give the folks out there an idea of how long you've been working as the Executive Director of LATLC and in general, what the organization does.
Well, I'll start by saying what LATLC is. We are the Los Angeles Trial Lawyers Charities. We give back to the community. We do it two ways, through financial support, whether it's in-kind donations, annual grants, scholarships, the traditional kind of financial. But my favorite part of LATLC is the volunteer service. So we'll do everything from cooking and serving meals, which you've done, Brad, at Downtown Women's Center, painting, low-income housing, all kinds of activities that I just love, the kind of work, hands-on work that you can do and give back to the community. How long have I been involved with LATLC? Technically, I've been executive director since January of 2017. However, a little-known fact, I was actually at the opening of LATLC in 2006.
Wow.
My husband was executive director of CALA, the consumer attorneys, and we went to the opening with Bruce Trainey and Jill McDonnell and all the people who started LATLC.
Wow, going back. And, obviously I'm involved in the organization and am have a front row seat to see all the work that you do day in and day out, year after year. For you, what is the most rewarding part of working for a nonprofit charity organization?
Well, I've worked with other nonprofits before, and yes, you feel good about the work that you do. But I can tell you it is so different with LATLC because not only do you see the benefits of maybe the financial support that you give or a volunteer event, but you see the faces of the people that you help. I'll give you a perfect example. One of our most favorite events is Buddy Ball. It's a special needs baseball team in Long Beach, and we are there opening day. We always give out new uniforms or sports equipment. Last week, I actually went to the end of the season and was with the kids and the parents and the coaches, and to see what a difference from the first day to the last day of the season and what it means to have a buddy help you play baseball is unbelievable. And it's even more meaningful because I've watched these kids for the last 6 years. The same kids play every year.
Wow.
And to see them grow up and grow in the sport itself is so meaningful. There's nothing to compare with it.
Wow. Yeah. And it's like you firsthand get to see not only their development, but how much the program that we're supporting as an organization is become an integral part of that development and how much it impacts. And a lot of times, like I'm sure you can attest to, in a lot of these situations where, for example, if we're helping out a family of a special needs child, you come to understand that it impacts everybody in their family a different way. You know, it obviously helps out for the special needs child. We have another event, the Great Trike Giveaway, where we give away adaptive tricycles to disabled children. But a lot of the stories and a lot of the connections that we make are also the brothers and the sisters and the parents of disabled children who come and say, you know, this has given them an opportunity to, you know, be independent and have a sense of freedom and all these things. And that really, you know, provides joy to everybody in their circle, their friends, their family, their community. So it is really, really special to see the impact in the community.
We've actually gotten cards, photos of family members who say, this is the first time all the siblings could play together.
Wow.
This is, you know, I'm half the time I'm either sitting in my car crying or I'm high as a kite for the rest of the day after each one of these events. They're unbelievable.
High on life, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, high on life.
Let's clarify that, please.
Nothing artificial.
Now, switching gears and getting real, what is the most challenging part of working for a nonprofit charity organization?
Number one, you can't help everybody. And it's very hard to say no. We get something like 35 to 40 applications for college scholarships, and we only can select 10. So the saying no is very hard to do.
Right.
It is also hard to be with in some situations that are very difficult.
Right.
And you have to look at the positive sides of everything that we do. It's also hard to the most difficult part of working with a nonprofit is we're a pass-through. It's garbage in, garbage out, money in, money out. And so unless we can raise the money, we can't give the money away. So it's saying no to very worthy organizations and individuals. That's very hard.
Right. I noticed that you didn't include the fundraising component, which I think a lot of people who work in nonprofits would say is one of the most challenging parts of working for a nonprofit, because you're constantly fundraising. And really what that means, fundraising is basically a nice way of saying asking people for money. And I have found, as being part of the organization and being part of committees that are, you know, spearheading fundraising efforts, that for me is one of the more challenging things, because it's hard to ask people for money.
Yes.
And it's hard to raise money. So
it is and it isn't. I'm going to tell you that if you believe in your heart about something that you're asking money for, it becomes very easy to ask for it. I hated doing fundraising for other organizations that I've worked for because, oh my God, you know other people are going to give, and it is a worthy cause, but maybe it's not what you feel is the best use of their funds. But I can tell you, I know firsthand that the dollars that we raise go to something directly.
Right.
We don't have an office. We don't have a huge staff. It's just myself and Summer Gershon, just the two of us.
Right. Shout out to Summer.
Summer, she's the best. She's the best. And because we try so hard to keep the money going directly to our partner charities, to whatever items that we purchase. A lot of organizations will buy, quote, swag.
Right.
To get their name out. We make sure that everything that we purchase, that we give away, has a purpose to it. Whether it's for a back to school, we make sure we have pencils and erasers, to the wonderful soft loveys that we have, because the heart is our logo, is in our logo, and loveys become such a comfort to special needs kids, to adults, to people going through mental illness and need some comfort.
Right.
All of these things are done with a purpose, not because it gets our name out.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And it is easier to fundraise when you believe in an organization. So what keeps you personally motivated to continue doing the work?
It's just seeing the faces of the people that we work with. I like to call myself a connector, and I love connecting different organizations together, different groups together. We're working on a Day of Dignity right now, which is for the unhoused in Hollywood. And hearing what one organization does, I say, aha, we can do that at this event. There's a phrase that is think globally, act locally.
Right.
It's been around for decades. And I love to think of that as looking at the world out there and where do we fit in?
Right.
Where can we connect in some way? And that keeps me going every single day.
Yeah.
And it is every single day.
Yeah.
People joke that they have a 24/7 job. I literally have a 24/7 job.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I know there's been prior years where we've told Lissa, you need to take a couple of days off. So we do appreciate all your hard work, Lissa. And to your point, in order to make big changes, you have to start making small changes and building and building. And, I really like what you said about connecting, because LATLC is in such a unique position in the Los Angeles community to have so many different relationships with so many other 501c3 nonprofits. But we have a little bit of a zoomed out 30,000 foot view where you can say, hey, these folks are doing this over here and these folks are doing this over here. Maybe they should get together and they could do that together. And so those kinds of connections, I'm sure, are super, super meaningful.
Oh, absolutely. We work with over 121 nonprofits in LA County alone.
Wow.
We're only Los Angeles County. Yes, we focus on children, education, survivors of abuse, persons with disabilities, and homelessness. Those are our 5 silos, so to speak. But we are able to see what the big picture of what goes on in the community and how we can connect them. And that's something that I really love doing, have always loved doing.
That's awesome. What advice would you give for folks looking to get into nonprofit work?
First of all, find your passion. Whether it's a nonprofit or a for-profit, I've worked for everything. I've worked in government, I've worked in politics, I've worked in the corporate world and nonprofits. Nothing is as satisfying as the nonprofit world, number one. Number two, find the area that you feel the most passionate about. You can say, there are a lot of nonprofits out there, but if you don't personally feel connected to it, it's just out there and it becomes a job.
Right.
This is not a $1 million salary job, although I'm very happy. It is not where you're going to get rich.
Right.
So you have to want to do what you're doing.
You got to believe in the work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one for you.
Okay.
In what ways has your opinion about lawyers changed over the time that you have worked with LATLC?
Well, I have an advantage and disadvantage. The disadvantage is you're not the first lawyers I've worked with. I spent 6 years at the city attorney's office doing public relations and corporate, that type of work, PR, for the city attorney. So I had one view of attorneys, prosecutors, and civil defense type of cases. But working with The trial lawyers of LATLC I've never seen a more genuine, generous, caring group of people. And I'm not saying this as a sort of BS kind of thing. I mean it so from my heart that the people are wonderful. And that has changed my opinion. Even though I did love the city attorney's office, not everybody. It was a different situation.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. We're going to go to the next segment of the podcast called Underrated, Overrated. And I'm going to throw out a bunch of topics, and you're going to tell me first if it's underrated or overrated, and second, a brief explanation why.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Okay.
SoCal weather.
Underrated. I love it.
New Year's Eve.
Overrated. I can't even stay up till New York time and I'm in LA.
Talking to strangers on an elevator.
I'm a big talker. So yes, I do like to talk. So that's underrated. I love it.
FaceTime calls.
It's underrated. I think during the pandemic, it was a lifeline. Also, my youngest daughter lived in New York for 10 years, and I can't tell you what life would have been like if I didn't have FaceTime.
Charcuterie boards.
Overrated. Sorry.
Fireworks.
Oh, underrated. Love them.
I don't think we've had a guest that has said fireworks are overrated. They are just absolutely crushing. Postmates food deliveries.
Again, thank God for them during the pandemic. So I'm going to say underrated.
Starbucks.
Overrated.
Shopping in person at the mall.
Underrated. I am a touchy-feely kind of person. I have to see it.
You got to try it on.
Yeah, got to try it on.
All right, we're going to go to our next segment now called Get the W or Take the L. And I'm going to tell you about a couple of recent news stories and then ask you a question based on the story of whether the individual involved gets the W or takes the L. All right, are you ready?
Okay.
A 28-year-old woman who enrolled at a Louisiana high school and posed as a 17-year-old student to learn English has been arrested along with her mother, authorities said Wednesday. Martha Yesenia Gutierrez Serrano and her mother of Butte, Louisiana, were arrested Tuesday. Each were charged with one count of injuring public records. Serrano used a fake passport and birth certificate from Honduras to register and enroll her daughter at Hanville High School for the 2022-2023 school year, the sheriff's office said. Sheriff Greg Champagne, at a news conference Wednesday, said that she told investigators she enrolled in the school to learn the English language. She wanted to learn English. She wanted to become proficient in the English language. Authorities said she was never disciplined, reprimanded, or caused any trouble at the school whatsoever. So for pretending to be an 18-year-old in order to attend high school and gain an education, does the 28-year-old Louisiana woman get the W or take the L?
I'm assuming you mean W. I'm in favor of what she did. Yes. Anything to learn. Education should be open to everybody, and kudos to her for trying.
All right. You're getting the W. You can make sure you remember that at your arraignment hearing. All right. Next one. As a prominent 10-meter diver, Diego Beleza is used to wearing small swimsuits that show off his body. Now, desperate because of lack of financial resources ahead of next year's Paris Olympics, the Mexican swimmer and diver is making a leap to a different platform in which he also wears few clothes, OnlyFans. Beleza, who was fourth in synchronized diving on the 10-meter platform at the Tokyo Olympics, recently joined OnlyFans, a site where content creators upload images and videos, some of them explicit. Beleza charges a monthly fee of $15 to access his content, but offers quarterly packages for only $40.50. As of Monday, he had uploaded 136 images, 26 videos, and had more than 14,000 interactions with fans. With the money he gets from the website, the 28-year-old diver is seeking to replace the mere 30,000 pesos that he has received as a government scholarship. For creating an OnlyFans account to fund his training and participation in the 2024 Paris Olympics, does Mexican diver Diego Beleza get the W or take the L?
Oh, God, that's a tough one because if I say L, then I'm such a prude. And if I say W, I'm not sure about that one. Can I take, like on Bravo, like Andy Cohen Bravo, I'm going to take the fifth on that one.
All right. That's the first time ever in the history of the podcast. Instead of giving someone the W or taking the L, we have a guest taking the fifth. All right. All right. Few more questions. If you weren't executive director of LATLC and you could do anything or be anything in the world, what would it be?
Well, assuming we're taking the talent that I have, not the talent I wish I had, I am so enjoying birds right now. It sounds very weird, but I have tons of bird feeders in my backyard and I just sit there watching them. So maybe I would become a bird watcher.
Very cool. You learn something new every day, you know? This is the hard-hitting questions
weird stuff
of the WallaceWins.com podcast that we came for. All right, well, continuing with this idea of hypotheticals, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Things are going to get better, number one. What my mother always told me was things always work out for the best. And I think my 18-year-old self knew that, and I want her to know that it's true. Things always work out for the best.
Wow. I love that. I guess to close out, for all of our viewers out there, does Lissa Zanville want to give her closing argument as to why she thinks that you folks should get involved with Los Angeles Trial Lawyers Charities? Lissa?
Los Angeles Trial Lawyers Charities is probably the best nonprofit one could participate in. Whether you have a few hours to spare to volunteer, it's very easy. You go on our website and click the little volunteer box, and we have all kinds of activities that are family-friendly most of the time and all across LA County. Or if you have funds and you want to donate, know that the money that you donate to LATLC goes directly to the betterment of our community. It does make a difference, whether it's buying adaptive tricycles, buying uniforms for a special needs cheer squad, or a college scholarship for somebody who needs to get that little bit of kickstart to go to college. All of these things make a difference. And I've seen other nonprofits where you're just a drop in the bucket. This is not a drop in the bucket kind of an organization. Your dollars go far. And both Summer and I, the board of directors, our incoming president, Brad Wallace, all of us care about where your funds go and where your time goes. And we make a difference.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Lissa, so I won't say anything more except thank you very much for coming. It was a pleasure to have you, and hope everybody enjoyed the episode. I don't know how you couldn't have enjoyed this episode. And until next time, we're signing off. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Get your win at WallaceWins.com.